What's up, KT? How are you doing today?
Oh, wonderful. I'm feeling good. How about yourself?
I'm doing excellent. Welcome to 2026. Did you make it? Obviously.
Well, yeah, I'm here. It's more like, because, I'm on that spiritual quest as well as trucking. I seen, I got the yellow on today to represent the new growth of the sun.
Okay.
Because we went past the winter solstice. That's when the sun get bigger for y'all, who don't study or whatnot. But yeah, so that's why I got the bright yellow on representing the new growth, sun getting bigger.
All right. Well, thank you for the spiritual enlightenment. Are we ready for another great episode to kick us off in 2026?
Oh yeah, man, I'm always ready. I missed you for the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Were you here or were you abroad?
I was handling my business, but
Were
thank
they
you for that.
feeding you? It looked like you lost a little weight.
Oh, okay. So let's go
Was
ahead.
that the goal?
May have been. Hey.
Oh, okay, yeah, it looked like you lost a little weight. You know what I mean? I tend to spread hips, but that's something else. Go ahead, talk to me.
All right, well, let's go ahead and welcome the people. Welcome to Azigos, where we talk raw, real, and unfiltered about the trucking industry. But we don't just leave it there, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but we also empower those ready to drive the future of the trucking industry. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the landscape of 2026 and why conditions are ripe to becoming a carrier. So if you're on the fence on whether or not to make that leap to being your own big boss, this episode is for you, and we're going to help you make that very critical decision. And in fact, we're going to help encourage you to make that decision. And we're going to show you why Trump's policies, yes, you heard me right, why Trump's policies are pointing in the direction for you to becoming your own big boss. So are you ready for today's episode?
Oh yeah, man. Let's talk money. Let's talk business. Let's talk finances.
Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Go ahead.
All right. In 2025, there were some major events that took place. Right?
Yeah, towards the end of the year.
The end of the year. That really point towards drivers becoming their own big boss. And we're going to cover some of those events, right?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So let's jump into the first event that happened, in 2025 that really points up and really read the tea leaves. That really sets the conditions for drivers really making that huge decision to transition over to becoming carriers. And that first major event was 10 Rose Express closing its doors. So talk to us, KT. What happened with 10 Rose Express and why that was such a major event and why that really sets up the conditions for drivers to becoming carriers? Tell us what happened.
Yeah, with 10 Roads, a lot of their contracts were like government contracts. The major thing they dealt with is U.S. mail.
Okay.
And so with the downsizing of government, in the mail industry or whatever, it was no longer convenient or advantageous for them to continue to have their doors open because most of their money was made through U.S. mail.
Mm-hmm.
And if you was in trucking in the last couple of years, like, a small company or whatever, if you was trying to run mail loads, if you didn't have at least 7 trucks or more, they wouldn't allow you, especially under the Biden administration,
Okay.
they wouldn't allow you to be able to run their loads.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so it went from the loads could go to anybody it went to you had to have at least 7 trucks or 10 trucks to run they loads.
So
which obviously is boxing out the small carrier.
I was about to say that because we all know when you think about the majority of in the carriers in the trucking industry is 5 or fewer trucks. So
I thought it was 3 or fewer.
3 or fewer.
Yeah, 3 or fewer trucks.
So they were really boxing out folks who look like you.
Yeah, that's an indirect way of boxing out the little man.
The little man.
The young folks out there, 10 roles and the government were trying to slime you out. They like to use the word
Okay.
Yeah, slime. Yeah, they were trying to slime you out on the low.
Wow. Okay.
Backdoor you.
Interesting. And so that ended up not panning out recently in
Well,
2025.
when you have different people making policies and different visions, one that's truly maybe be for, middle America, then, the policy change and, the door starting to open up again.
Okay, and we will get into that a little bit later about those policies. So on the surface, with 10 roads closing, you may think, people are going to be out of jobs. That how does that impact the workforce? Is that going to flood the market now with more unemployed drivers, and will that actually make capacity change, or will that have an impact on the availability? And so there's more competition with drivers. I mean, how does that actually point towards, helping it set the conditions to become a carrier and your own boss, as opposed to now looking for more work to work for another carrier company?
Oh no, it's really gonna be good for the motivated, the ones who want to go out there and get it. Cause most of the people, and I know you might take a little offense to it, but a lot of them are RA, reasonable accommodations. They really not reasonable accommodations. That's what RA is short for. And folks who had that government job, they're not paid based on their effort or how much they getting stuff done. They getting paid based on their longevity and their comfort.
Okay.
So really it's not going to be any competition at all, because most of them that was having the 10 road jobs, they used to being comfortable. And so they're not going to want to go into the competitive market with, with the loads now they're going to be available for the owner operator or the small carrier, because he want to get it.
All right. Interesting.
You know why he want to get it?
Why does he want to get it?
Because, he able to be more loose with his dollars if he make more dollars, It's nothing, they had the song Casamigo. Yeah, I buy Casamigo shots. While you paying your, what you paying? You're paying child support and all that, and you wonder why she ain't picking up the phone. It's because I'm buying her Casamigo shots.
Okay. All right. So that's the first event. Let's move to a second event that really happened, that really points towards the conditions are right for drivers to becoming their own boss as a carrier. And that second event has to do with Amazon. Amazon is no longer using USPS, the United States Postal Service, to help deliver their freight. So let's talk about that decision.
Once again, government, big government, Trump, big businesses, they starting to remove and take government out of the way. See, Amazon, they policy, what they don't realize, over the last couple of summers, is that small businesses who, if they do subcontracting with them, they get their loads delivered in a more timely fashion.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you notice, if you got Amazon Prime, for the last couple of years, it might say it get there one day, but it might get there a day later or 2 days later.
Right.
That's because they're using workers that, they got a job and they comfortable. But see, when you have those that's motivated, they got their own business.
Right.
They know they business, that's their name, that's their brand.
Right.
So they more pressed to get the job done, because they want to get that money and they want to grow.
Okay.
So Amazon they like to use subcontractors more than they like to use actual people who 9-to-5ers or just work for a company.
So
big company. Yeah.
I can be a testament. I am an Amazon Prime holder. And, in the early days when they said one day, it felt like it came overnight one day. But over the past couple of years, it definitely felt like you were hard pressed to get your packages overnight, one day. I mean, occasionally, yes, but they were definitely slipping more and more regularly into 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, sending you a notice, oh, this is running late. So that's a good thing. And the thing is, Amazon Prime, has been increasing on their prices now. Am I right?
Got to.
Yeah, make a comment below what your thoughts are about Amazon Prime services. But, so as a consumer, we were definitely feeling the differences. But, we hope to see a difference for sure with this move. But, going back to why, again, this is how does this then encourage drivers to say, hey, this is a good sign for me now to transition to being my own boss? Why would this point to more business for small time carriers?
Because they're looking for more people or drivers that has like a boss mentality. They're gonna do what it takes to get paid. If you're not willing to do more than what you're getting paid for, you're never gonna get paid more for what you're doing.
Okay.
See, they looking people for that mentality that, I'm not just here trying to do the bare minimum or do enough for you not to say nothing. They want driven people.
Right.
And like I said, most people that have small businesses or trying to start their business, they are driven people.
Right.
People who just want to work for the company or work for the government, they're not driven. They want to have a lot of idle time. You know what I mean? They just want to get to the day because they have understood that they're going to get their check regardless if they make quota or not.
Okay,
that's what we're trying to phase out.
Okay, a lot of government
when you
workers
think
would take issue with that, but go ahead.
When you see USPS, think DEI. It's a death to that type of mentality.
Okay, all right.
You don't deserve the booty. Okay. And I'm not talking about as in on the back of a female.
Right.
I'm talking about for the spoils of war. You don't deserve the booty if you want to stay in comfort.
Right, okay. Right. All right. And then let's talk about a third event. And this has to do with Swift. I know many of you all are familiar with Swift. In fact, when you were first starting out with your CDL, you probably worked for Swift. But Swift Transportation, they bought out US Express. So let's talk about that decision and how that impacts and really sets up the conditions for drivers to becoming their own boss.
See, when you have Swift Transportation and you have those mega carrier, it's a cause and effect. Because when you had Swift Transportation, and people like Schneider, Swift Transportation, Knight, Swift already had bought Knight. And what's the other one? I don't know because I ain't been in that lane in so long. But when you had those mega carriers, because the real drivers and the responsible drivers went out and got their own trucks or whatever, they don't have to deal with the new drivers and the immature drivers. So that is working against you if you have to work for a company like that, because they safety programs, they're making it very uncomfortable for you. You don't want companies like Swift buying up stuff because they got that AI camera pointed dead at you, reading everything about you. I talked to one of my partners, one of my little nephew, man. He worked for Schneider. Schneider is saying that they can't even talk on the phone with the headset.
Wow.
Now, you driving 11 miles a day, 14-hour shift, them white lines hypnotizing you, and they don't even want you to be able to talk on the phone.
Wow.
That's because y'all young drivers have been so accident prone. So they using any excuse to take away your liberties.
Right.
So when you have a company like Swift, like I said before, you don't want to be in position that you got to work for them.
Right.
Because it's not going to be comfortable.
Right.
Just think about you just looking dead at the road and you just had to listen to the radio. I don't even know if they want you to use the radio. I think the AI camera say distract the driver if you reach to turn the radio station.
Wow.
Do you want to work up under them conditions?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Hey, this is the time, man, to try to line yourself up, man. To kind of try to do it for yourself, or even if you want to be a company driver, work for some of them smaller companies who actually have people at the top who actually don't driven a truck and been a truck driver, and they understand what you're going through.
So this is a segue because you just mentioned how this is a perfect time. This is a small window, to take advantage and really make this tough decision. And that's because you're really alluding to based on the administration and who's in office. So,
Right.
and we know who's in office, which is Trump. Now, many of you,
President Trump.
okay, thank you for the correction.
President Trump. For those who in your feelings.
Okay, President Trump. And before you're up in arms, I know probably many who are watching this channel may typically be of a certain political persuasion, but we have to look at things objectively and take our feelings out of it, and look at things that really benefit us from a business perspective. So he mentioned and touched on this earlier. This administration is about the downsizing of government and why that is a benefit to those who want to be their own business person. So we saw with the impact, of 10 roads and how with the downsizing of government impacted them. And what does that do for those who want to be their big boss, be their own boss with the downsizing of government?
Oh, you want me to just talk about the downsizing of the government,
Yes.
not the other policies?
Well, we're gonna go in.
Okay,
we're gonna hit
so
three
the downsizing
policies.
of government, like I said before, man, it raises the level of competition. It gets the government out the way and let the cream rise to the top, and is reinforcing good behavior, strong American citizens instead of those who want to sit back, collect snaps or sit back, at the house and just get money based on their circumstances, not really trying to rise above their circumstances, or through mega companies monopolizing the industry.
Right.
And they setting the rates, you know what I mean? And they're setting the rates at a place where it's non-profitable for you as a small company. So he just opening up the level of competition. So downsizing government, downsizing those contracts, you know what I mean, and letting it be more spot freight, or even you doing a contract, doing a small contract, with trucking warehouses or shippers out there who want to use your services, man.
Right. And the second policy we need to pay attention to is how he has fiercely gone against taking away CDLs from undocumented drivers. Now, we saw what happened with California. And why is this so important?
It's so important because, like I said before, in a previous episode, man, the type they're doing, they driving the trucks and they don't even know that they being manipulated, and they don't know that the person above them is using you because they don't know how
Right.
things are supposed to go. And
Exactly.
so they're allowing the people, whoever don't gave them a job, to underbid because they don't have to pay their drivers. And so somebody who actually running a legitimate business, who's in this country, born in this country, out here trying to make a living and trying to rise above his situation, he can't compete with an undocumented citizen because $5 is a lot of money for them. They coming from a situation where they don't even know if they're going to eat the next day. So any amount of money is good for them, where you're born in a situation in a capitalistic society where the bar has been risen. You know what I mean? So we need those rates to be up. We need to be inspired to be great. And the more money you make, the more fluidity you can have in other aspects of your life, and definitely put whoever you got in that house, in their proper position, because you are the boss then.
All right. And
Right.
then a third policy that we need to pay attention to, this administration has done, which really, sets the conditions, is that, which has been in the news lately, and you may not even associate it with trucking, and why it's really important and really sets the condition to becoming your own driver, has to do with how this issue around the oil reserves in Venezuela. So talk to us about how that even has an impact on the trucking industry.
Well, yeah, so most of the common man or the people in the four-wheelers, they not that they're not that focused on the price of fuel. And so the prices of fuel, especially when it's unstable, it can make or break you. You know what I mean? So if you notice, ever since Trump been in office, the fuel hasn't risen astronomically. If anything, it don't went down. So by him taking over the control of Venezuela oil reserves, a lot of y'all might be like, oh, there's a war crime or whatever, but they don't understand it was American companies that built the infrastructure for them to abstract that oil. A lot of them don't know that it was American ships that been able for them to even ship the oil. So it's not a war crime because it was us and it was under a certain handshake or whatever. You know what I mean? They had came to an understanding, we're going to do this, and this is what y'all going to supposed to do. But Venezuela wanted to do their own thing. I don't want to get too deep down into that, but basically the fuel prices are really going to lower. And if anybody know who drive trucks, that's going to greatly, greatly benefit your overhead.
Whew, you educated us today, KT. You starting us off right in 2026. Thank you for that,
Absolutely,
KT.
because, a lot of people don't understand. I ain't mean to cut you off. A lot of people don't understand. I've been a businessman in both administrations. I was a businessman up under Trump previous administration.
Yes.
So I know what my money was looking like versus me having to cut corners under the last administration before Trump came in office. So I'm able to compare the two. That's why I speak so passionately.
Yes.
That's why I'm trying to tell y'all, a lot of motivated individuals, this is the time to try to line yourself for at least these next 3 years to get your money up, man.
Right.
You really can increase your wealth, man.
Right.
I'm living proof of that.
Take the chance.
Take the chance.
For those who really are built to be their own boss, but you don't take that chance and you continue to be an employee, the powers that be can sense that spirit in you, and they will do anything to keep you from taking that chance. Let me tell you, speaking from personal experience, they will keep you from taking that chance, and they will try to, squash that light and that desire, and you will be actually more oppressed than your counterpart who has no desire. Have you noticed that the people who always tend to be, the less productive, employees, they actually get coddled. They actually get protected, right? Because they don't want their top producers to actually they don't want them to actually leave and go work for themselves because they rely on them. So you will actually think they will get treated better, but they actually get treated worse, which is counterproductive in my opinion, but I digress. Right. So I would just say
very informative.
Yeah. So I would just say
look like you're treating yourself good. You ain't gonna let that hold you back.
Okay, so anyway, that's for another episode. Right. So I would just say, use this time, bet on yourself. Bet on yourself.
Bet on yourself, man.
All right.
And truck prices are down. This is the darkness before the dawn. It get darkest right before the dawn. This is the time to try to get your equipment. Now, I will say the insurance companies, they putting their foot on your neck. So, especially if you are in Georgia, maybe you might want to change your address or whatever to get a better rate. But, man, look, I'm telling you, the money is finna flow. For the next 3 years.
All right. We won't make this too long. We've already done an episode about what it takes to get started in the trucking industry. Maybe we'll revisit it under these new conditions. But that's all we have for you today. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you next time. So peace.
Hey, can I say one more thing?
I really would like to say no.
I want to say one more thing. Another thing with the fuel prices now, I know y'all young ladies like to go on your vacation so you can post it on Instagram. Man, look, the flight tickets are down right now. So, hey, link up.
I may edit this out, but go ahead.
Absolutely.
All right. See you next time.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.